You know those haircuts you see everywhere? The ones that are just full of life and bounce, but are still amazingly long? Well, have you ever wondered how to get all that texture without having to chop off all your hair? Today, we are cracking the code on the modern layered cut. We're going to break down the professional technique for getting insane volume while keeping all that beautiful length.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down the exact look we're going for. Then we'll talk about the prep work, which is like the blueprint for the whole thing. After that, we get to the really cool part, the twist that makes all the volume happen. And finally, we'll cover the blending and the all-important dry cutting that pulls it all together. Let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, what exactly are we trying to achieve here? Well, the biggest enemy of long hair is just its own weight, right? It just pulls everything down, and all that potential for movement and texture gets totally flattened out. This whole haircut is designed to fight back against gravity.
Check this out. On the left, you've got your standard long layers. They're nice for sure, but they can feel a little heavy, a little weighed down. But now, look at the right. That's the modern cut. See the difference? All that volume's up at the crown, the texture is popping, but the length at the bottom is still there. That's our target. It kind of looks like magic, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's not magic at all. It's pure technique. So how in the world do stylists pull this off? Well, it all starts with a solid plan. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? Well, a great haircut is exactly the same. And for a stylist, that blueprint comes down to one thing: super clean, super precise sectioning.
The very first thing a stylist does is establish the perimeter. This is the absolute bottom line of the haircut, literally. It's the length that they promise they will not go past. Think of it like the foundation for the entire haircut. And the process is so methodical. They start by separating the front from the back right at the ear. Then they take the back and split it into these really clean, manageable sections. This isn't just to be neat. It's so they can always see their guideline and get a perfectly straight line. Only after all that's done do they actually cut the perimeter. This sets up that clean foundation they need for all the fancy stuff that comes next. And here we go. This is the real secret sauce. We're getting to the core technique, the innovative trick that solves the biggest problem: how to get that big volume without losing the length you love. This, my friends, is where the magic really happens. So this is the big question, isn't it? It's a total paradox. How do you get the awesome lift and body you get from short layers without actually, cutting the hair short? The answer is a really, really clever little trick.
It's called the twist technique. It's brilliant. By taking a section of hair and twisting it, the stylist can separate the shorter top strands that they want to cut from the longer strands at the bottom that they don't want to cut. Those long pieces, the ones that make up your length, just fall right out of the way, totally safe from the scissors. It's an amazing way to work on two different lengths at the exact same time.
So here's how it works in action. The stylist lifts a section straight up and then twists their fingers. Now here's the crucial part. They let that long bottom hair just fall out. It literally escapes being cut. What's left behind at the top gets point cut, which means cutting into it vertically to create a really soft, volumizing layer. That is the secret right there. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to the stylist who perfected this. She says, the importance of twisting is letting your last section fall out so you're not overcutting. That one little move, just letting the hair drop, is what saves the length and makes this entire look possible. It's everything. Okay, so we've got the volume locked down in the back, but now the focus shifts to the front. This is where we get into the really artistic details, the stuff that makes the cut look soft, personalized, and like it all just flows together perfectly. This is really where the true artistry comes in. I mean, a great cut isn't just about one cool technique. It's about making sure all those brand new layers blend beautifully into the length you already have, especially around the face. So to avoid that dreaded shelf, that chunky, disconnected line you can sometimes get around the face, stylists use a technique called slivering. As the stylist in our source material explains, if you cut at too sharp of an angle, you get that chunky look. Slivering is the fix. So what in the world is slivering? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like peeling a carrot. Instead of just chopping a piece off, the scissors actually glide down the hair, just shaving off these tiny little bits. This creates a really soft, diffused line that lets those face-framing pieces blend perfectly into the rest of the hair. No shelves allowed. All right, we have done the prep work. We have nailed the twist technique. We have framed the face. But we are not done, not even close. Now we come to what might just be the most critical phase of the entire cut, the final polish that happens after the hair is totally dry. I mean, this quote right here says it all. The stylist considers dry cutting to be just as fundamental as setting up that initial blueprint. For this modern textured look, it is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. But why, though? What's the big deal? What can a stylist possibly see in dry hair that they can't already see when it's wet? Well, think about it. When hair is wet, it all sticks together. It hides imperfections, it can hide weird lines, and it can even create this kind of mushroomy shape. But once it's dry, the stylist can see exactly how the hair wants to live and fall naturally. This lets them go back in, soften everything up, and truly perfect that final shape. For this final step, they usually grab two key tools. First is deep point cutting, which they use to break up any of those hard lines and blend the layers. And second, thinning shears, which are perfect for taking some of the weight out of the ends to get that light, airy, modern feel.
So, the big takeaway here, the pro tip, is this. With a modern layered cut, the job just isn't finished until the hair is dry. All that final magic, the blending, the personalizing, it all happens at the very end. The dry cut is absolutely essential.
So let's just quickly recap the whole journey. We started with a clear goal, volume without losing length. We built the blueprint with super precise sectioning. We used that clever twist technique to create layers while protecting the length. And we brought it all home with the final polish of dry cutting to perfect the shape.
So, we've basically deconstructed the method behind the magic. And that kind of leaves you with one last thought, right? Now that you know the intricate technique hiding behind a modern haircut, what other invisible skills, what other professional secrets are out there hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered?